The second match, first set of the day, will be played on Korhal Floating Island. Spawning in the bottom right-hand position as the blue Zerg from Evil Genius's Team Liquid. His name is Revival, and he needs to break his losing streak.
His opponent already has an all-kill this season, 3 kill in a previous game. Feeling so confident in the Winners League format. His name is Free, playing for Woongjin Stars as the Red Protoss on the left top position of Korhal Floating Island.
And so Free already just going to go ahead and start a wall off there. He's going to scout his opponent out here. Also, something I just realized, Revival kind of reminds me of Puma back when he was still a player for EGTL. You know, he was sent out a lot in Pro League, but he just couldn't grab the wins.
Yes, that's quite true. And if you just look at the data right now, Revival is actually on 9-game losing streak.
So that, I'm just very curious why Coach Park wanted to send him out here. That is something that maybe in the practice house he's one of the best players and almost always wins, but when it comes to the broadcasted matches, he gets really nervous or falls apart. Like I've mentioned in the past, it's night and day between the practice room and the actual live games.
Well, you do have to account this when it comes to Pro League lineups. These players, they earn the trust from their coaches in the practice house, and that's the reason why they are being sent out. You know, if the coaches do not expect the players to win, why would they send them out in the first place?
That's true.
So Revival, Coach Park, he knows that he could take the matches as long as he brings out his S game today against Free.
Yeah.
Now, his opponent, Free, in this matchup, he is 5-1. A monster, I have to say, from Woongjin Stars. Even a better win rate compared to his teammate, SOS.
That's right. His win rate is like, what, 65 point something percent?
65.4 according to Kespa.
I like how you add in the according to Kespa. You're saying that there's a chance that it's actually better and they're wrong.
Well, I don't have a calculator with me, so I can't calculate the win rate.
I thought you were a math whiz, man. Can't you just do that in your head?
Decimals.
Decimals?
Well, give me the pen then.
I was joking around, man. You don't actually have to do the math here, but I guess I can't stop you from going for the math. Looking over to the match here, Free doing a really cool wall off here. He's going to wall off with the pylon and gateway on the left side of his base, and on the right side, going for a forge. So this is a gateway nexus, or there's a nexus gateway forge expand. Really cool build from him, I have to say. I like how he's playing to the map, adapting to the situation. We're seeing Revival go for the 3 hatchery opening as well. Very common for Zerg to do that against a Protoss player. Getting up that 3rd hatch, they need the extra larva and the queens to fuel their production.
Oh yeah, definitely, and we've seen this build on this map previously, where they wall off the gateway on the one side and the forge on the other side, and the Protoss players can be sent out on this map starting from now on, because, you know, previously we didn't have the 2 neutral supply depots in the 11 o'clock and the 5 o'clock position, but now Protoss players, they can wall off like that, and they don't have to, you know, commit heavily to one side and then wall off the other right away.
It's true. Supply depots do help out. I remember we saw a game between Hitman and Kira where Hitman just went for the, or I think it was an 8-pool or a 9-pool, something very early. He pulled his drones and he went for it, and he just took out his opponent Kira, who went for a fast CC. Cybernetic score finishing up for Free here, and we're going to be able to see his tech path choice momentarily here. Free already banking up a lot of gas, actually, up to 250. Hasn't shown any sentries, militia cores, or tech.
Or no warp gate.
There we go. There's the Stargate. Will we see a second one? Nope.
Well, Sentry first, but he still has a gas. Okay, there we go. Warp gate finishing up, going up right now. So I guess he just wanted to time it correctly.
Nice
All
scouting
3 at the same time.
Nice scouting by Revival, by the way. He sees that Stargate instantly as soon as it goes up. And back at his base, he's got 2 gas already, up to like about 46 supply though. So that's standard. He's just really saturating his expansions right now, building barely anything at this point. He's getting 2 Zerglings now, focusing on that Zergling speed. We should see a layer from him pop up momentarily when he's got the gas for it. And Free is just gonna, you know, he's gonna go into that Stargate tech, get a few Phoenixes out, get that map control.
Yes, indeed. Now, Free, he's doing all of this just to make sure he could survive. Whoa, he's going for a Void Ray first instead of Phoenixes.
This points towards getting a fast 3rd base and going into that Sky Toss composition, because With the Phoenixes, you get the map control, and you do try to harass your opponent's economy, stop them from going for the mutas. In this case, we generally see these Protoss players that get the fast Void Ray go for a faster third base and just go into the air units.
Yeah, all they want to do is get faster gas for themselves by going for the expansion, and as soon as they do that, as soon as they are fortified, they're going to get a massive amount of Void Rays out. And we might even see a variation of Beast's build yesterday where he got a lot of Void Rays out and then started adding the Colossus after.
It's true. The question will be, can Revival deal with this? He's making 13 Roaches, 12 Zerglings at this point. The third base going up to the right of Free's main. And the Zerglings scout it. They're going to see it, and they're just going to back up there. Only loses one Zergling. 2 cannons on the way. The question is, will there be enough Void Rays to stop this timing from Revival? If Revival can force a cancel on this third base, that's going to put him in a very solid position. That's a lot of units moving across the map. Zergling speed finished. We do not have Roach speed yet because the layer has only just started. 20 Zerglings on the way. 2 Stargates being added from Free as well, and we may see these Void Rays move over to the natural of his opponent here.
Yeah, the Void Rays are going to be in fantastic position for the harassment, but he doesn't know that the Roaches are moving across the map right now.
This is actually a huge mistake from Free. He's trying to do some damage here in harassment. The Mothership Core sees everything now, but there's no energy for the Nexus Cannon. Lings and Roaches moving around. No force fields. Okay, the force fields go down, but at the same time, so smart. Revival attacking the natural. Free is in a lot of trouble right now. He has to find a way to save that expansion. Lings and Roaches now in the main mineral line. The Roaches moving into the main as well from the third base location. Free is in a huge amount of trouble right now, losing buildings left and right. Now unpowered units in the middle of the map. There's only a handful of Void Rays here to defend against this Roach onslaught. He's going to run out of economy before he can deal with this attack.
Yeah, the biggest problem with Free's play is that he showed the Void Rays too early and told Revival, hey, this is the build that I'm going for. And Revival told himself, well, I'm just going to mass up army. Tons of Zerglings, tons of Roaches, and even if you have Void Rays out, you can't defend against massive amount of Zerglings and Roaches with only 3 Void Rays.
All right, well, looking at the big picture here, 46 workers to 63 Revival, taking out that third base. The problem is the Void Ray production has not been harmed by this attack. Well, it's been delayed, but we haven't seen any Stargates get taken out. Not too many probes overall have actually been killed here. Revival, he still has a very large advantage, though, but he needs to properly deal with the Sky Toss tech here and prevent the Protoss player from taking that third base. If he can do that, I can see him winning the game.
And he's going for the Nidus.
Interesting play. Going for the Nidus here. The Zerglings trying to force a cancel on that third base. Too many Void Rays out on the map now. The Ling's just going to move in here to the main base and try to do a little bit more damage, ignoring harassments. Won't do too much, though.
So Revival, he's not looking towards the mid to late game. He knows that the Void Rays are stacking up. He wants to go for the Nidus, get as many Queens out with the Hydra's Infinite Transfusion, and then end the game.
Also, we haven't seen too many Void Rays being made here from Free. He's got, you know, an okay amount. I think he's up to like 5 or 6 at this point. He's got the shield and attack upgrade behind this. But our Zerg player Revival, the Phoenix, it scouts the Nidus Swarm. Free knows what's up right now, and he's making more Void Rays. We have a 4th base on the way from Revival, and why not? He can certainly afford it. He's got all the drone saturation he needs, and he can prevent his opponent Free from getting a 4th base as well.
And even if the attack doesn't work, I mean, he already has Queens at all of his main bases. He's not going to lose any drones for going for this attack, and all he has to do is drone up if the attack doesn't work, as long as he builds enough spores back at the main base. And the Nidus network going down at the 4th base area, while Free is cannoning up as much as possible at 3rd base.
So now the Queens and Hydras moving across the map here. They're going to be hitting that 3rd base shortly here. Free has to defend against this or he will simply lose. That's actually a solid amount of Void Rays here. The Queens are going to have to help support here. We need to see Focus Fire from Revival, taking down one, but realizing the Void Ray count a little bit too much for him. He does need more Hydras to add into this army mix.
Yeah, but that was a really nice cut on 1 Queen and couple of Hydras for 1 Void Ray, just buy himself enough time to pull all those units back to the Nidus.
Look at that.
Look at this.
Are we playing cannon defense right now? Because that's a lot of cannons.
Well, remember when this build was initially introduced, they were playing cannon defense, and it worked out perfectly against Zergs because they didn't know how to deal against the Sky Toss army from the Protoss player.
It's true, but the Hydra's moving in now, along with some Zerglings. I think it may be a mistake to engage into the cannons and Void Rays, but if you can take out one or the other alone, this could potentially work here, and I think that's what Revival realizes, trying to force these Void Rays in the proper position. Good transfusions going down, saving those queens. God save the queen.
Yeah, but all Free has to do right now is get the cannons out and go for the Colossus right after. He has Colossus coming out. What he also needs to worry about is getting some sentries out for the force fields, but it seems like he doesn't have enough time for it.
All right, now Free is forced to defend against this attack. We're seeing a large commitment here from Revival, trying to make sure he can get into the proper position. The Void Ray count is getting out of control at this point. A few are going down here. The Queens and Hydras still at a pretty solid number, 163 to 122 supply. If we can just see constant flood of Hydras, you could win here, but the problem is the first Colossus is almost out here. These cannons are buying so much time. I'm curious as to why Revival doesn't try to attack from a different location. He has the mobility from the Nidus Swarm, but he's just trying to brute force his way through here. The Colossus is now out. The Void Ray count starting to get low right now. At the same time, the Hydras, though, they are really falling at this point. The upgrades for Free, allowing him to stay in this game. I have to say the defense from our Protoss player has been stellar this game.
Yeah, I mean, if the second Colossus comes out, there's no way that Revival can actually push through it. So it's better for him to drone up at this point and play a macro game behind it while trying to attack from the left location, like you said previously.
This position way too fortified at this point. There's Colossus out now. You know, remember what Hydra did against the Protoss player on Whirlwind? He went for the Mutas later on in the game. That is what I want to see happen from Revival here. I'm not sure if he's going to go for it, though. He's really invested heavily into this tech here. And, some Hydras getting baited out here. The two Colossi now, looks like they're going to force Revival back. I feel like Revival, I mean, he's still in a good position, but the later the game goes on, I feel like he just doesn't play as well.
Well, that's the power of the Sky Toss with the cannons, because all Protoss player needs is 3 bases with a constant economy. With that, they could get the Sky Toss army out and going for the Swarm Host.
I like this.
Fantastic decision by Revival. We saw Roro take out flying with this build now. Revival behind this, he needs to drone up heavily, and he needs to start making spore crawlers around the map.
He needs to get a lot of spores and spines against this. The Colossus moving out here. I'd love to see a few Corruptors out, just, you know, kind of to help out, and I want to see that Viper tech like I was talking about. No Hive on the way, just quite yet here. I do like the creep spread, though, by this base, third base over here. It's passively putting pressure on Free throughout this entire game.
And Revival, all he's doing is fortifying this position so that Free cannot easily push out on the map. Also building spine crawlers back at the main base and the third base to make sure the drops don't do as much. And here are the Swarm Hosts.
Swarm Hosts going to start doing annoying damage at this third base, just constantly sending out waves and waves of Free units. Free gearing up to take his 4th expansion here. Swarm Host will do a little bit of damage, but not too much. The power of the Swarm Host, of course, is that they're Free units. The 4th base is scouted and actually may be prevented here. Also, that huge Congo line of Zealots will be heading over towards the 3rd base of Revival. He must have units over there in order to defend against this.
You know, with this, Free almost has to go for Tempest to make sure that he could attack the Spore Crawlers and some Spine Crawlers out of the range.
This is some good defense from Revival, but his 4 Spines going to be enough against all of those Zealots. They have 1 shield, 1 attack upgrade. That's actually a hefty amount of Zealots there. Adding in 3 more Spine Crawlers immediately after see that. Will we see... Oh, the Hydras! They're trying the capture. A lot of these Void Rays out of position. This could be really good trade overall for Revival. Here he's killing off so many Void Rays for Free. The trade excellent for our Zerg player. At the same time, though, they may be under fire here at the 3rd base. The Zealots doing a good amount of damage to the 3rd. Colossus trying to break that defensive position over at the top right. Not going to happen.
I'm not too sure why Free's overextending with those Void Rays. It was better for him to recall back to the main base and save the number of Void Rays, because now he only has 2. He has 3 more Void Rays coming out, yes, but the Void Ray count has dwindled a lot for Free, and it's not as scary anymore.
Free still has a very high supply count at this point, up to 171 to the 187 of our Zerg player. I have to say that the spine defense has been excellent from Revival. Bought him a lot of time here. The Void Ray count starting to increase again. We have Corruptors out now for Revival. He wants to deal with those Colossi over here, and going up to 5 now.
Yeah, so the Swarmos aren't doing as much, but it does annoy the Protoss player
Yes,
a lot.
here we
and
go.
Second Nidus Swarm on the left side of the map.
Finally, we're seeing that second Nidus go underway here. This is the perfect opportunity for Revival to get ahead in this game.
He does have 4 Templars at the few Templars on the left
And
side
he has
of the
Storm.
map.
The army from Free looking very dangerous here, but he's out of position against this. Good Storm's going down. The Corruptors are going to get absolutely annihilated by those charged Void Rays. Free easily defends this with Cannons and Templar. Just overall playing a very, very passive defensive game because he has to. Revival's been on the attack the entire game, essentially.
Yeah, but this is hurting Free a lot because he has a unit composition. He's almost maxed out, and he wants to move out on the map, but he can't do so.
Alright, so we have the Void Rays moving back over here to the 3rd. The Colossus, are they in position? Now we have a lot of Swarm hosts moving into attack here. Colossus moving across the map. They want to defend against this. Good Storm goes down. Feedbacks on the Queen as well. Roaches and Hydras moving in over to this 5th base. Going to force a cancel instantly there.
But that also allows Free to move out on the map.
That's true. There's the Void Ray count and the Colossus count. Quite impressive here. We need to see excellent transfusions, but the Zerg army getting completely evaporated here by the Void Rays and Colossus. The light show all over the place. There's nothing to deal with this composition here, and Revival forced back. He's got a lot in the bank, but so does his opponent Free. He needs to do a tech switch to deal with the Void Rays, with the Colossus, with the High Templar.
Yeah, Mutas is the answer in this situation, but like I said, going for the right bottom base with that many Roaches and Hydras, Free's like, oh, nothing to cover this Hormos. It's a free shot for me. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to kill everything that you have right now. And look at the supply. 200 of Free to only 162 of Revival.
Revival's still trying to keep his opponent, all over the map here. Doesn't want him to attack. Free doesn't care. He's going to go for the attack. Look at all of the units he has in this army composition. Charge lots, Void Rays, Colossi, and the High Templar. Nothing in the Zerg army that's not maxed out will be able to stand against this.
Revival had a nice idea and he was going for it, but he just didn't build enough Spore Crawlers on the left side to actually move to that area. Also allowed Free to get a lot of Void Rays out once again, and now he is getting completely crushed at the 4th base. His main and the natural is going to be next.
There's a lot of reinforcements here from our Zerg player, but excellent Storms from Free, completely annihilating this Zerg army. Free saying, I don't care if you damaged me early on in the game. All I need to do is fortify that 3rd base, put up a lot of cannons, get those Void Rays, and you can't stop me.
Revival knew that he was in a solid position throughout the whole game, but the little mistakes that he made throughout the whole game is now coming back to biting him in the butt. As Free, he is taking out the natural expansion. He took out the 5th base and now taking out the main and the tech structure at the same time.
I feel like the Nidus play had potential, but he needed to be hitting in more than one location to make it work, just like he did with his initial attack. That worked excellent for him. He did so much damage, but Free, he was able to stabilize. GG is called. Free taking match number 1. It wasn't easy for him, but he made it work. Unfortunately for Revival, he cannot seem to get a win here. Despite having a good opening, things going well for him, he could not grab the victory.
The idea was good, and getting the Spore Crawlers down, getting the Spore Crawlers and the Spine Crawlers to protect the Swarm host, really nice. But in the main engagement, he didn't snipe the Observer right away. That was also another mistake that I saw.
The idea was good, the engagement was good, the follow-up was what hurt him and eventually forced him to fail there and lose the game. Alright guys, the score 1-0 with Woongjin Stars in the lead over EGTL. The next map will be played on Newkirk Redevelopment Precinct. We will be back after this quick commercial break.